So I wanted to create a very small video because I just like randomly thought about it. Trying to be quick about it. So I see a lot of just like a bunch of bad habits that every corrin player has happened to do or does that I feel like should probably be addressed because it'll do them a favor. They know what to replace that bad habit with, or what to avoid so they don't, if they're not currently doing it, so they don't actually just start doing it. But I'm going to start off on the first one, which is a lot of corrin players will randomly back air in disadvantage, and I am not innocent of this one. If you're in a position where you do not need to back air to recover, you should opt to probably not to. Because if you're this close, if you're back airing from over here, then yeah, sure, you're probably okay. Unless, like, there's a character with a projectile that can probably punish you by shooting their projectile at you, you're usually going to be fine. But be aware of what character you're playing against and their ability to edge guard, or things that they can do while you're off stage, throw at you, whatever. Don't do this because you're putting yourself in lag right in their face, and they will kill you for it. So just like be careful of when you're doing back air off stage, especially I feel like some people will like do it as a bad habit, like out of hit stun. Dragon Fang Shot also applies to this as well, because stalling with Dragon Fang Shot is pretty good. But just like bear, if you're putting yourself in lag and you're too close to them, they'll throw a projectile at you or just hit you for it. Like if I'm doing this right here as I'm recovering, like against Palu is just gonna explosive flame me, and I'm either gonna die or gonna take a ton of percent. And I could have just avoided that. But yeah, a lot of the time, corrin's recovery is good enough that you don't actually need to like use your jump if you're high enough, or you don't really even need to use back air either. So yeah, just try to avoid that if possible, especially if you're close, if they're like able to come off stage at you, or they're close enough to do it and you do it too close to ledge, they're gonna jump out and kill you. So the second one is also off stage, is I feel like I see every corrin ever will jump and then up B, which, you know, that shouldn't, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but if you do get two framed, or if you do get hit out of your up B, which is very bad for corrin, because if corrin doesn't have their jump, they're kind of screwed in a lot of situations that send them straight out. You'll just die. You need to hold on to your jump like it's the only thing keeping you in the game at all, because sometimes it kind of just is. So corrin's recovery is good enough to make it to the ledge even without using your jump. Like, I'm in the blast. Obviously, if you're higher, corrin's one of those characters where if you're coming from higher, a jump is not really necessary, but they're really bad at coming from this spot without their jump. Like, I'm not using my jump here to show how, like, it's basically not recoverable. So you need to, like, if you ever get cinched straight out, you're just kind of dead. So you need to, like, make sure to hang on to that jump as much as possible. Especially, like, don't mash jump out of hit stun out of a combo, because if you get set at this angle, you just die. But obviously, it's gonna test you on how comfortable you are recovering in bad spots and like knowing your limits on corrin's up B, because you do need jump in some situations, but a lot of the time, if you don't have to use it, you shouldn't, because it's really important to have. And preserving your jump can allow you to avoid checkmate setups at ledge, or edge guards that could just kill you. Like Sephiroth commonly is going to either dair ledge, or he's going to run off Scintilla. And if you up B from here, you're going to hit Scintilla and die. And if you up B from low to avoid Scintilla, you get down aired and you die. But by having your jump, you can either scale over the Scintilla, or move around it, or allow yourself some sort of mix-up to avoid that, like, otherwise kind of checkmate situation without your jump. Okay, so another one is daring while being juggled. So against a lot of characters, dair is not something you need to just mash out of hit stun. If a character can't chase you up to the blast zone and isn't going to chase you up to the blast zone, it's not necessary to down air. Because a character like Sephiroth is not going to jump up here and try to up air you. His up air is like it's big, but it is slow and somewhat reactable. So if you see Sephiroth jump up here to do that, you're like, okay, I just air dodge through it or whatever. I just swing down into it or whatever if you're close enough. But you don't need to feel like, oh, Sephiroth jumped, I need to swing down or he's gonna kill me. He's not gonna do that. He's not one of those characters that's going to do that. He's going to stay on the ground and occupy this ground range where he thinks you're gonna land. And he's either gonna F tilt you or dash attack you, yada yada. So against characters like that aren't gonna just come up here and try to hit you for being above them, you don't need to dair. Even against some characters that are gonna come up here and try to do this, do like up air on you, like Byleth for example, you are not down airing through Byleth up air. Do not even bother. You are just gonna take a bunch of unnecessary percent. But characters that do try to like jump up there or could try to jump up there and what's it called, and hit you while you're up there, you can down air through it depending on what the character is and what move they're doing. Like if like a Palu is gonna try and up air you, you can down air before her up air starts, or obviously that one's a little scary, but like Duck Hunt is not gonna jump up there because his up air isn't good. But a character like what's it called? A character like Falcon might jump up there to like try and hit you because his up air is like really good at juggling, even though it's not going to kill too often, but it's like really good at juggling. But oh, you think he's going to come up at you, then you can down air through him. Obviously don't do it all the time, because if they do think that you're going to just down air, they're just going to condition you to like think that they're going to do something, or they're going to jump up to like pressure you and then bait you into doing something, and then they're going to whiff punish you for down airing. Which, if you down air, if they aren't even doing anything at all and you just down air out of disadvantage because they happen to be below you, they're just going to sit there and look at you and punish you for it. So it's dependent on some character knowledge and situational awareness about when it is okay to down air, but don't just mash it all the time. Another thing is pinning on every 2-frame situation, which pin is good. Do not get me wrong. It is very good at its jobs at ledge, but it's not efficient against a character that isn't above like 40 to 50%, because if you pin a character and 2-frame them at like 20 to 40% or whatever, then they're not going anywhere, unless it's a character like DK, who you could set up another edge guard on really easily, or Little Mac and Doc, who like without the ability to immediately jump up beat the ledge or immediately jump recover the ledge, they just die because their recovery is that bad, then yeah, maybe pinning is just fine there all the time. But you need to recognize when pin is like effective to do and when it's not, because Corrin's ledge trapping game is still very good. If someone's at 110 and I don't feel comfortable if I don't feel comfortable trying to pin their recovery, that's fine, because like I can F tilt their neutral get up, I can pin their roll, like drop shield, pin their roll, I can try to pressure jump by doing up air, and if they jump past me, I just like chase them. Whatever. There's like situations where Corrin can kill with less committal moves at ledge, at above those percents where like pin can kill, but you also have other killing options that are safer. So like it's better to do those. If they can't avoid pin, then yeah, go ahead, just like destroy them. but just realize when it's too late to pin and when it's not effective to pin. If I'm playing against like Falco and he's recovering at 120 or like 100, if I'm in a position to get pinned comfortably and I'm fully ready to do it, then yeah, I'm probably going to do it. But if I can opt to wait and I don't feel confident in hitting it, and it's like a high risk, I'm at some sort of risk for doing. If I'm like playing its Link and I try to two-frame him with pin and I'm late, he'll do Rising Fair off ledge and that move hits like a truck. And if I'm at a high percent, I'll just kill me. So if I don't feel comfortable that I'm going to hit that pin and kill him when he's at like 120, like okay, I'll just not pin and I'll opt to try and kill him off a ledge trap with like a grab and up throw, F tilting a get up, pinning a roll, whatever. Pin is very good, but there are times where there are more efficient options. It's a medium risk, high reward option at the percents where it's effective, which is going to be like 40 to 50 plus, depending on like character weight and stuff. Pin at high percents is the same risk and same reward, but if they're going to die to any other move, there are just other moves that are more efficient and safer with less risk, which is better to do those. One other one is Dragon Fang Shot as a zoning tool. It is not very good as a zoning tool, unless it's against a character that's really immobile like Ganon, whose only option is to dash, shield, and then jump over with his slow-ass jump. Then yeah, it's not that bad. But you don't get anything off of it usually, even if you hit it in neutral, so it's whatever. Unless there's some sort of character-specific thing, like you're playing against Snake and you're, I'm gonna clank with Snake's pulling, Snake throwing a grenade so the grenade doesn't come over to me, or I'm gonna shoot Dragon Fang Shot to try to pressure this character from getting their resource from afar before I can like get up close to them with pin. But just be more conscious in its uses because it's not a neutral tool 90% of the time, and if you do it against any character that's mobile, they're just gonna jump over like this and then swing onto you and then punish you for it. And then the last thing is I feel like regardless of character archetypes, I'll see corrin players go all the way up here to like edge guard someone. Like if it's a floaty, yes, you can come up here and then you'll frame trap their air dodge if they do air dodge. But if they have good air stats, they can drift away from you, and now you just like lost your entire opportunity to juggle them because corrin's air speed is not like Marth, for example, Marth and Lucina. If I'm juggling Lucina and I don't need to chase her up there, I can, but it's not necessary for me to do because it is kind of overcommittal. I can stay low and play to keep her in the air from like around this height where I'm not overcommitting too much, and I can still hit the ground if I whiff. I can still frame trap her if I whiff. But I can also, you know, just jump up there and steal her jump if I think she's going to jump out of disadvantage and potentially kill her. But doing this against floaties is really good because they don't really have an option to sneak their way down a lot of the time. So like if you wait for them to have to forcibly land into you by continuing to be in that threat range, then it's really hard for them, and you don't really even have to go for anything lethal. Eventually over time they're gonna die. Like the idea against floaties is to keep them there as long as possible. As for fast fallers are, if you try to jump up here and up air someone, they're just gonna fast fall air dodge, just get past you. Now you're in the air above them, and they're gonna like maul you for like, if it's Fox, he's gonna double up air you, and you're gonna take like 40% or something. So like against those kind of characters, it's kind of the same idea. Don't go over a full hop. By doing this, you're able to still frame trap, get down to the ground, so even if they do fast fall air dodge, they're not going to be able to like immediately punish you, and you might be able to frame trap them. But against like fast fallers, instead of like going up here to try and get them like this, or characters like multiple jumps trying to go up there and catch them like this, it's better to just like wait them out. Like they don't have anywhere they can usually go. You can just like against a fast faller, I wouldn't want to go up here and catch them unless I'm like reading their jump or something. What I would want to do is to go where I think that they want to go, which usually it's going to be center. So I go here and then use my pressure, like acting like I'm a giant wall here, to make it to where they have to either get corralled into the corner or they have to force their way down into me, which is like not gonna be like, it's not gonna be a good trade for them if they get hit, because a lot of fast fallers are somewhat light. But yeah, like, I would want to, instead of overcommitting like this against characters I don't need to go up there like that against, like Byleth, for example. I don't need to go up. Byleth's air stats are bad enough that if I want to, yeah, I could come up here and just chase him, and there's nothing you can do about it. And his ability to fast fall air dodge past me is not great either. But I can also just do this, and there's not a thing Byleth can do about it. Like, fast fall nair and fast fall air dodge, and he's gonna try to drift away with you, drift away from you with his air stats, which aren't amazing. So, like, you don't need to overcommit to juggle a lot of these situations. A lot of the time, it's not necessary to come up here like this to double jump to get something, unless you think you're gonna catch some recovery option, like a fox side being high or falco side being high, monkey flip, ZSS down B, whatever. Or you think that they're gonna jump out of a hit stun and then you just murder them and then they like explode off the top. But yeah, I feel like this is some common issues I see a bunch of like corrin players do that need to be kind of addressed, because it'll help them a lot to like not do those habits, because there's so many times where I'm watching people in VODs where they're like, I'm gonna recover, and then they back air in someone's face and they die, or I don't know what to do with neutral and I just want to press a button, and then they're just shooting Dragon Fang shot, which gets them nothing, or they're just like just throwing their body at someone in the air when they can just like this alone just like destroys some characters. Or trying to pin when it's like not going to be efficient, or mashing down air down. It's just, those are some common bad habits, and they need to be mentioned so people will avoid doing them. And if people are currently doing them, then they'll know like other options to do and how to feel like more comfortable in those situations. And if they aren't doing them, then knowing what to avoid so they don't fall into those bad habits. Because on my days where my autopilot is bad, I'm definitely doing back air out of hit stun like a moron right here in someone's face, and then they kill me for it. Or I feel scared that they're below me and I'm gonna down air through them when they haven't even got off the ground yet. Like stupid shit like that. Like when my autopilot's just bad and I'm feeling randomly nervous or whatever. So it's just like some common bad habits I wanted to mention so that people can avoid them and get better at not doing them, because I want to see other people succeed. But yeah, anyway, this is just a kind of brief attempted video. It's not heavily edited or anything, but yeah.